Okay, good evening everybody. I finally got back in. I've been out all day. I've been on a little mission. I had to go down to Sligo because I had to get a cat door. So I'll show you the cat door that I've got. Although it shows a little doggy on the front. I'll just turn it over. There's a little cat on the back. So the cat door is going to go into the back door here. And then that means that both Sammy Bear, who's here, have you cleaned your face, Sammy Bear? Because you're a bit grubby looking. Look at him, he's been out fighting. A fighting cat. What are you like, Sammy Bear? Don't ignore me. He doesn't like being told off. So this will allow the cats to come in and out without having to keep the door there to the pantry open. Jack's delighted to have me back home again because he was guarding the cottage, weren't you, Jack? Outside is incredible. Not a twig broken, not a thing out of place. And little share, want to share this with you. I got a prezi from Michael Gill in Florida. Now, let's see. Can you guess what this is? It relates to my absent-mindedness. Now, Jack's saying, I know what that is. And it's about time you wore that, Mother. Well, Michael Gill, thank you very much for this. I do like it. Although I may look a little bit like Dame Edna Everage wearing this, rather too glam, but I like it. And it's got purple in it, which is the royal colour. And being O'Neill, of course, this is a royal family. So I'll just read a little bit of your letter. I have enclosed, hello Clet, I've enclosed a small gift. I noticed in a few videos that you were looking for your glasses. Michael, I've spent the past 13 years looking for my glasses. So I've sent you a lovely, I hope, beaded cord for glasses. I'll have to start dressing up now. I can't wear that beautiful beaded cord on top of my old clothes. I'll have to go out and get a whole new wardrobe now. You don't know what you've started, Michael. I also just started supporting you through Patreon in the hopes it will help just a little bit with your ultimate plans. Well, my ultimate plans, I suppose, would be to get a one-way ticket to Acapulco and disappear into the ether. Since my children and grandchildren and friends and family could no longer find me. No, seriously, my ultimate goal, my ultimate plans has got something to do with a rather dodgy roof and a couple of dodgy chimney pots. But we'll see. You may remember my recent email asking about your cordylines. I managed to find a purple version here in Florida. I hope it gets as big as yours. As you probably know, and this is the part I really like actually, Michael. As you probably know, Florida was devastated by Hurricane Irma and my garden was 75% destroyed. Now, I don't like that, but I like your attitude towards this, Michael. Do you know, honestly, you know, in those old American movies, you know, how the West was won and, you know, all these stories of bravery and optimism and, you know, I just love that because this has got echoes of it. My garden was 75% destroyed. I have had time to mourn. And I've now decided to celebrate in the fact that I get to completely rethink several of my garden rooms. That is wonderful. That is a wonderful approach. Thanks again for your inspiring life. I will continue to watch and support you. Michael Gill. Well, Michael, I think your attitude deserves a big round of applause, and I think we can all learn from that. Now, the reason why I decided to make this video this evening, because I wasn't actually going to do one this evening. I haven't even made myself a pot of tea yet, but I'll get round to that anyway. I put on the laptop and switched on the laptop and was going through my emails and beginning to label up packages and stuff for books. And a lovely young man from America has contacted me by email, and I'm not going to mention his name. And the only reason, now this lovely young man, I'm going to call you Jonathan. Okay, so Jonathan, the only reason why I'm reading out the response to your email is because I know all the lovely people who tune into Bealtaine Cottage will read this, will listen to this as I read it, and they in turn may have some useful advice for you as well. So I'm hoping now that this will be helpful to you. And I don't usually write long emails to anyone because, as you can well imagine, I just haven't got the time. But before I've even made my pot of tea, I thought it was important to sit down, write this email in response to you, Jonathan, and make a wee video and put it up on YouTube. Okay. So, I've taken your name out of here, okay, but we'll say Dear Jonathan. Sorry, before I begin, I'll just say Jonathan's contacted me because, you know, life can be a bit up and down for a lot of people, and sometimes you just have to find your way through. And Jonathan has kind of asked me for some advice, really. This is it, which is really good. It's really good to go to an older person and ask for advice. And I'm sure there's going to be lots more advice underneath this video, Jonathan. Because there's a lot of really good people and a lot of very wise people who tune into Bealtaine Cottage. So I've said to Jonathan, so you can imagine now from what I'm saying to Jonathan, the kind of things he's said. You are only 24 years old, and from my own experience of that time, just beginning to come to terms with family. This continues ad infinitum. I'm sorry to say that. Families are all difficult to live in among. Those that appear idyllic are far from it, believe me. Your experience sounds normal to me. My siblings and extended family have been, at times, most unbearable. It's true. If I was to write a book about my family, I'm telling you, number one, it would be a bestseller. But number two, people would be saying, that's fiction. Could never have been that bad. Anyway, relationships are inclined to mellow with time. This is true. Everyone, including your family, are on their own sacred journey. Let them at it, as my grandmother used to say. Oh, hang on, get that back up. Slow down and simplify your life as much as is possible. The great goddess, Mother Earth, is there always. Now, the reason why I've said that is because Jonathan has asked me how he can get close to Mother Earth, how he can feel at one with that lovely female divinity that is Mother Earth and the goddess. The great goddess Mother Earth is there always. Spend time in her company. Her energy is joy. You will feel it when you are ready to engage with her, Don't rush or punish yourself, for you are a sacred soul experiencing a human journey, for better or for worse. Let it be. Balance your time with quiet. Eat well and clean. Good food. Sleep plenty and read. Now the reason why I've said read here is because, look, I have 2 grandsons, Jonathan, and they're not much younger than you, and they spend far too much time on the screen, as I call it. You know, playing video games, and it's very, life today for younger people is very screen oriented, and you know, that's not good, because that's unbalanced. So you need to organise your day and come away from the screen a wee bit. If indeed you are on the screen a lot, maybe you're not, I don't know. But anyway, that's just advice I'm putting out there. I've got to follow my own advice too. Don't let life happen to you. Now this is very important, because I've seen that in someone I love very much, that they've allowed life to happen to them. You know, the more structure you put into your life, and structure can be quite gentle. It can just be, okay, I'm going to go out for a walk every day kind of structure, or it can be tighter than that. But the more structure you put into your life, the happier you will be. Because that's the kind of beings that we are. We need to have structure, especially in this chaotic world. It's very chaotic. So don't let life happen to you. Embrace all opportunities. Be kind even to those who are almost intolerable. You can always walk away, whereas they have to live with their unhappy self. That's very true. Laugh lots. Sometimes this takes a lot of practice. Not if you're me, because I spend most of the time laughing at myself. And I say this, and always be the first to laugh at yourself. For we are inclined to take life much too seriously. And you know, if you find it difficult to laugh, find movies that you can sit and have a jolly good laugh at. Because laughter raises all the good hormones in your body. Finally, be patient with yourself, tolerant and forgiving. Be patient with yourself, tolerant and forgiving. Oh, we need to forgive ourselves far more than what we do. Yes, indeed. You are unique and special. Well, that's for sure. You are meant to be here at this time and in your own self. Now I finish off with that. You are meant to be here at this time and in your own self. There's absolutely nothing insignificant about you, who you are, and the life you're in. Because you're meant to be here at this time and in your own self. Okay? Life can be a very short journey. You know, 100 years or less. My grandmother used to say, if only we could have 2 lives, the first one could be a kind of a dress rehearsal for the second. She also used to say, you know, because time does fly, Jonathan. She used to come down the stairs of a morning in her little terraced house, and there was a wee mirror on the wall at the bottom of the stairs, and before she opened the door into the parlour, she'd have to pass this mirror. And she used to say to me, Clette, sometimes I get a wild shock in the morning. When I look in that mirror, I see an old woman. And yet in my head I'm 16. I never really thought about that until recently. Sorry, the camera's shaking because as I laugh, I shake. I thought, God, I'm going to be 62 at the end of the month. My grandmother was probably about my age when she said that. Mind you, for some reason or other, my grandmother always looked like a grandmother. I think women did in those days. After they had their last baby, they would stop wearing their corsets. And their bodies used to meld into one kind of a shape. Yeah, it's very much the Irish way then. Mind you, those corsets were terrible. Whalebone corsets. You'd hardly breathe in them. Well, according to my grandmother, I've never had to wear one. So, this is very true, Jonathan. You are meant to be here at this time and in your own self. That's all I can say to you. That's the most important thing you'll ever hear. Because you know, sometimes when we feel alienated from family and friends, or we feel alone, we feel as though our life is meaningless. Well, it's not. You're meant to be here at this time and in your own self, the person you are. So I hope you enjoy my book, and I just got an email from, let me just try to think now who it was. Let me see. I'll have to go back. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to quickly email this email off, and then I'm going to go back because I've got something else to say. Just got to put the name back in. I don't want anyone to see. Excuse me, just while I put the camera down there and aim it at that fat cat's head. Okay, now send. So I'm sending this email off to you now, and you've ordered a book, and just got the letters here. I got this lovely letter from someone. Here we go. So this is in the spirit of Christy, Christy Nickel. This is in the spirit of Christy. I got a lovely email from Sue Johnson, and Sue has ordered a book and 3 maps, and she says, would you please give one of the maps to someone you feel is appropriate? So you know what I'm going to do, Sue? I'm going to send a map to Jonathan, because he's ordered a book and he is just a young man, and I know that young people never have an awful lot of funds these days. So I'm going to send him the map that you have gifted. Okay, so Jonathan, there's a map going to you as well from Sue Johnson. Now, on that note, I'm going to don these fancy beads, okay? Wire up my glasses to them. I look like some retired librarian who's hit the lottery. And make myself a cup of tea while this video is uploading. That's what I'm going to do. And Jack's saying, yeah, what about me? I could do with a few of those bickies. Yes, we've still got some bickies left that Dwayne sent to you. Got another 2 packets out there. So you're going to get some gluten-free treats, Jack. Now finally, Jack, what advice would you have for Jonathan? What advice would you have for Jonathan? Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Yeah. Do you know, if Jonathan is a young man, he's got energy. What about a little doggy friend, or maybe even going and working at a doggy shelter one day a month? Yeah, and spreading a little bit of joy. Yeah. Anyway, I shall upload this now. Blessings to you all, my dear friends. Blessings to you. And stay well. Be kind.